Hello dear friends, in this video I will show you how to create the Morion helmet in SolidWorks. Now let's switch to Adobe Photoshop and align our image there if necessary. Let's import our image. Here is our image. We can see that it's slightly rotated. Now select the crop tool and you'll notice these arrows appear. And we rotate it so that it stands more or less straight, just like that. And to make sure it doesn't cut off the edges, we'll increase the size of our frame like this. Press enter. Now it has cropped for us. Next, go to image, adjustments, replace color. I'm doing this to remove this brownish color which will get in the way when working in SolidWorks. I use the eyedropper tool to select our unwanted color and adjust the lightness to 100% so that everything around the helmet turns white. And now I adjust the parameters so there are no glares on my helmet and the background stays white. Well, something like this. Okay. Let's add the second image to align it with this reference. This will be our front view. Let's reduce its opacity. We'll set it to 60% and place a guide to align our image. We move them under the reference and start adjusting the image we've imported. We adjust it. We simply scale it up as needed. Something like this, more or less. Now we hide our image. Next, we carefully remove all of our guides and then save the final version of our image. File, export as. Make sure all the settings match mine, including the JPEG format, and then save and select -R, -reduct. And it has been saved there. We hide this layer, turn on our second image and set its opacity to 100%. File, export as. And we export it. Also, simply -R1 as well. And that's it. We exit Photoshop. Well, now we continue working in SolidWorks. Click on Part. Okay, now SolidWorks will think for a bit and load the window for us. Select the front plane, Sketch. On it, we will create our image. Select Sketch Picture and choose our edited image. There, this will be the image opener. Wait a bit, SolidWorks will process it. There, it's loaded. Okay. Next, exit the sketch. Select the right plane, Sketch. On it, we will create our second image. Select Sketch Picture and upload our second image. I'll wait a little bit. There, it's uploaded. Okay. Exit this sketch as well. Go to the power surfacing section and create a cylinder there. There, it's created. Add 16 edges. And 1 segment in height. Now, simply enable smooth shading for it and then click OK to proceed. Move it to where the center of the helmet is. Select our edges, select the top perimeter, and press the Ctrl+8 key. Pressing Ctrl+8 is needed to set the view parallel to the reference. Now, by selecting our edges and moving them to the center, we will create a sphere from which we will make a helmet. Select our two edges and shift them toward the center. Just like that. To make it look more like a sphere. Scale our middle edge. There you go. Just like that. We'll spread it out a little. And we'll compress it as well. This is how we adjust them to match the shape of a sphere. Just like that. Our sphere is ready. Now let's select it. We've selected all polygons. Polygons are the little squares. Well, you can also call them segments. Now let's scale our little sphere to match the size in the reference. Let's scale it. And now let's rotate our little sphere by 90 degrees to make it easier to work with. Scale it a little more. And let's set its transparency to 70%. Now we'll move it like this. Just like that. Now let's rotate the image so it's facing us, parallel to our view. From the front, and move our sphere over there. Then we'll start moving it towards this reference. I just moved it. That's it right now. That's it. Now we'll cut off half of our sphere and then we'll mirror it. I'm selecting half of the polygons on our sphere. We've selected almost all of our polygons. There's still one left in there. Alright, we've selected them all. Right click and then this little cross. Excellent! Now, by pressing Ctrl 8, we select all the polygons. We'll leave only just a quarter of our helmet, which is really just a small portion of the whole. Remove everything else. Again, right click and the cross. Select these points so there's no unwanted rounding like this, and set their hardness to 100. Done, the hardness is set. Now let's slightly rotate our lines to match the reference, so that we can later create fields from them. We rotate them like this, roughly, and move them. Now let's align our points to the reference. Alright, we've matched the shape to the image in the reference. Now let's adjust the shape to match the image in our side reference. That's it. Now we've roughly matched the shape of our helmet. Now let's start creating the brims. To do this, select the edge selection. Edges are the lines there are horizontal edges and vertical edges. Select our edges. Right click. And now in this step, we're going to extend and extrude our elements downward. They were extruded downward because their vector is pointing down. We'll move them as needed later. Okay. And now we position our brims as needed. Select the points and move them down from the center. Just like that. And now we just adjust them to match the side reference. Take them and drag them. To do this, let's enable hard shading so we can better understand the shape of the helmet. Right now we're creating the brims. Now let's create another division in our brims in the middle. For this, we'll use the ring command, which is the equivalent in 3ds Max. Click it and they get selected like this. Right click and choose connect. Okay. Now switch to point and edge in polygon mode and select this point. And continue moving our points, adjusting the shape to match the reference. That's it. I finished adjusting the points. Let's take a look at our helmet to make sure there's nothing extra. Now everything is roughly aligned according to both references. Let's turn on smooth shading and take a look. This is how it looks. We can clearly see that at this point, our points are currently not perfectly aligned with this surface. So what we'll do next is create a plane and then carefully snap the points to the plane, making sure everything lines up as intended. Exit power surfacing by clicking OK. Select the plane, we need the front plane. Go to Features, Reference Geometry, Plane, and move it. Remove it. The offset direction offset just changes the direction in which the plane is moved. And let's start increasing the distance. Let's choose 545. Like this? Not enough. Let's try 547. 547 is just right. Okay. Then we'll move the plane below the power surfacing. So let's click on the, I'll right click and select Edit Definition. Now we select all our edges. Just like this, we deselect them. Then we select our plane. Go to Tools, Power Surfacing, Alignment Tools, Snap to Plane. There, they snap to the plane. There you can see it. Now let's create a small bulge on the edge of the helmet. We'll create a slight subdivision of the geometry between the first and second perimeters. Okay, now let's select all our polygons. Right click and choose Insert. This command is analogous to the one in 3ds Max. Okay, then right click, choose Extrude, and extrude just a little bit. What we're doing now is creating this bulge on the edge of the helmet. Okay, you can see that there have been some minor geometry issues. Let's select them and delete them. And now let's fix these points on both sides. We'll select them by choosing Point, Edge, and Polygon. Select all our points on the edge. Right click and choose this command. Excellent! They've snapped together at this point. Now select the points on the other side. We'll do the same with them. They've snapped together. Select this point, right click, and choose this command. Excellent! Then do the same on the other side. Excellent! Now let's select our edge. Select the plane. Go to Tools, Power Surfacing, Alignment Tools, Snap to Plane. Excellent! Let's switch to Hard Shading and draw the ridge. Select all our edges. There we go. And right click connect to link them together. Okay, now right click the pencil tool and draw the missing segments. So on the other side we'll do the same thing, just like this. Okay, and now select these polygons. We're going to extrude them. Extrude. Just like this, okay? And move our edges. That's it. Now we need to fit them to the shape. Adjust them to match the shape. Then turn on soft selection and refine the shape. There, we finished the shape. Now let's turn off soft selection. Select all our polygons on that side and click the cross. You can see that our crest turned out too thick. Now we make it smaller. I'm moving the points along one axis, otherwise they might get misaligned on the second reference. And now we've created the crest. Now let's mirror our half. Select our edge loop along the edge of our helmet. By holding the Control key, we can both select and deselect edges. That's it. We selected everything. Now select the plane, go to Tools, Power Surfacing, Alignment Tools, snap the plane. Now let's turn off the plane and do a mirror. Okay. Let's select the lines on the crest and set their hardness to 100. And here we'll add a hardness parameter. Let's delete these surfaces. We can see that the geometry turned out a bit wrong. We'll fix that now. Let's remove the hardness from this point, otherwise the geometry gets a kink. Now, let's apply the thickness tool. Tools, Power Surfacing, Make Tools, Thickness. Set it to 2 millimeters. Enter. 0 millimeters, okay? And exit Power Surfacing. Clamp it a little. Excellent. Next we'll make these little nuts. Select the front plane. Sketch. Ctrl 8. Let's hide our unnecessary sketches and hide the plane. And now we draw a spline. Just like that. Right click to select. No, exit the sketch. Now go to Curves, Project Curve. Select our spline and choose the surface onto which it will be projected. Simply change the projection direction of the curve and click OK. Next, go to Sketch and draw a point to which we will offset the plane, and then we'll draw the sketch on that plane. Okay, exit the sketch. Features, Reference Geometry Plane, and select the front plane and our point. Okay. Then right click on the plane, select Sketch, press Ctrl+8, and draw our nut there. Find the point. Here it is. And draw a nut like this, roughly. Then draw a center line. We'll have a center line that we'll use for rotation. Excellent. Let's move our point closer to the surface of the helmet. Edit the sketch. Rotated base feature. And select the contour that we will rotate. And this will be our contour. Uncheck the merge result box. Okay. Just like that. And now, let's place our nuts along the curve. Go to linear pattern and there find curve driven pattern. Select our curve. Then select the normal along which our nuts will be arranged. 6 instances. And select the body of our nut. And okay. Now we have our nuts left. Let's hide our plane. Let's hide our curve. Then we'll mirror our nuts. Let's carefully select the plane that we need. And then select the main body of our nut. We've selected them. Okay. Now go to Insert, Features, Combine Bodies, and select all our objects. Just like that. Select the nuts. Okay. After that, now go to Surfaces, and then choose the Delete Face command, and carefully erase every one of these internal protrusions, just as shown. Just like that. Select them. Great, we've selected everything. And down here, set the parameter to delete and fill. And click OK. Let's think about solid for a little bit. To assign a material to our nuts, go to the pencil icon. And here, specify the material. Now, select the surfaces of our nuts. Select them. Do the same with the helmet. Just assign it a different surface mode. That's it, okay? This was Alexei Tikiev with you. Subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Bye bye everyone.